I would venture to say that most of us in the church, when we think of missions, we think of going somewhere abroad, going to a foreign country, going somewhere other than the place that we live. And that's a valid understanding of missions. But when it comes to the deeply formed life, the idea of missional presence expands our understanding of missions. When I was in seminary, I took a course on evangelism, and one learning that really sticks out to me still, and it was novel to me at the time, but what really sticks out to me is that God is already at work and present in the world. The mission sites we might think of, but just in general. In our neighborhoods, our communities, God is already present and at work. And God invites us to participate in God's ongoing work. That highlights the fact that God is present. God is a God who is present with us. And God invites us to be present in the world. That is our missional presence. Now, when I was serving at a previous congregation, there was a low-income housing complex just down the street, and we were building a relationship with them. And once a week, I would go and read stories to the preschool-aged children, like 0 to 3, and I would just go once a week and read a story and be with them and families. Now, someone from my congregation asked me, how many of those people, that's a flat red flag, isn't it? How many of those people are coming to church on Sunday? Well, I'm sorry to say that was not my end goal. I'm not sorry to say that, actually. That was not my end goal. My goal was not to get more people in the church building, more people in worship on Sunday morning. My goal was to be present with them, to show the love of Christ and just be there. It was all about building and developing relationships, and if it resulted in them coming to church, well, fine. All the better. But that was not the goal. We get so fixated on outcomes, what we can quantify, what we can count, what we can pat ourselves on the back about. But that's not the point. The point is to be Christ's presence in the world. And that involves doing, actively doing things, mission work. But a lot of it has to do with our being in the world, our being in God. The time we spend in God's presence impacts the way we can be in the world. Our time with God in God's presence is the well that we draw from. And we need to continue returning to it to be filled and to be the presence God calls us to be. Because as Christians, as the body of Christ, we are Christ's presence, physical presence in the world. So as we near the end of the Deeply Formed Life series, I challenge you to think, what is my presence in the world? God is only asking us to be ourselves, who God has called us to be. What is your presence in the world? Are you sharing and showing the love of Christ, the hope, the peace, all of that? Are you showing Christ to the world just by your mere presence in the world? Are you pointing? Your life, is it pointing to something more? I encourage you to think on that and reflect on how you are being present in the world and also the time you are spending and being in God's presence. Grace and peace to you on this day.